What's the most ridiculous reason someone got fired? These stories are unhinged. Story 1. Alright, so this was back in like 2003, ancient times. Flip phones, dial-up noises, everyone pretending their boss was a leader instead of just a dude with a slightly nicer chair. We worked in this bullpen setup, desks jammed together, so close you could smell what somebody had for lunch 3 hours later. Real morale-boosting environment. Anyway, Seth had been calling in sick a lot. Not fake sick either. Dude looked like death warmed over half the time. But our boss? Oh, he hated Seth, like personal vendetta energy. The kind where you start wondering if Seth accidentally ran over his childhood dog or married his ex or something. So one random afternoon, boss man fires up this group chat with the whole team. Except Seth, already shady. Message just says, "Watch this." And I remember staring at my screen thinking, what is this? A magic trick. Are we about to see a rabbit? Nope. We were about to witness the most middle school power trip nonsense I've ever seen in a workplace. Boss stands up, loud, theatrical, like he's about to deliver the Gettysburg Address or some corporate TED Talk nobody asked for. He goes, "Hey Seth, can you come over for a second?" Seth rolls his chair over, chill as ever. "Sure." Then the boss hits him with this smug grin and says, "You know how there's no I in team?" And I swear to God, for half a second, I thought maybe he was gonna give some dumb motivational speech. You know, teamwork, synergy, blah blah, corporate word salad. Seth goes, "Yeah?" Boss leans in, pauses for dramatic effect, like he's about to drop the punchline of the century, and goes, "There's no you either. Get the F out of here. We'll send you your stuff." Dead silence. Like the whole room just got vacuum sealed. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. We were all just sitting there thinking, did this man really just fire someone like he's roasting them at a bar? Seth just blinked a couple times, grabbed his jacket, and walked out. No yelling, no scene. Honestly, more dignity than that clown deserved. Meanwhile, the rest of us were frozen, pretending to type, suddenly very aware that if he could do that to Seth, he could absolutely do it to any of us on a random Tuesday because Mercury was in retrograde or whatever. I remember going home that night and polishing up my resume like my life depended on it. Because if your boss treats termination like stand-up comedy, you're not working at a company. You're working at a ticking time bomb with a payroll department. Story 2. So back when I was in high school, I had this part-time gig detailing cars at this stupidly fancy auto shop. Not your regular minivans and busted Civics either. We're talking Mercedes, Ferraris, the kind of cars where you're scared to breathe too hard near the paint. I was basically a teenager getting paid minimum wage to babysit machines worth more than my parents' house. Real character building stuff. Anyway, one Friday afternoon, this dude rolls in with a Lamborghini. Bright, loud, obnoxious, the kind of car that screams, "I have money and I want strangers to know it." Boss tells him, all professional and confident, "Yeah, we'll have it ready Monday." Customer nods, tosses the keys, walks out. Standard rich guy transaction. So I come in Sunday morning, sleepy, half alive, probably still smelling like cheap body spray, and the whole shop is buzzing, like bees got into the espresso machine or something. Everyone's whispering, phones out, faces doing that, "Oh, you are so cooked" expression. Turns out the assistant manager, grown man, supposed adult, allegedly responsible, decided Saturday night was the perfect time to take the Lamborghini out for a little joyride. Not for work, not for testing, nah, for a date, because nothing says romance like Grand Theft Auto with leather seats. Man really thought he was starring in his own movie. Probably rolled up to pick her up like, "Yeah, baby, this is mine." Meanwhile, the rest of us are back at the shop scrubbing tire rims for $7 an hour. The audacity was Olympic level, and here's where it goes from stupid to legendary stupid. Guess who happened to be driving around town that same night? Yep, the actual owner of the actual Lamborghini. Saw his own car just casually cruising past like it escaped the garage on parole. I can only imagine the double take. Like, hold up. Is that my car? Did my car grow legs and start dating? Next morning, assistant manager didn't just get fired. He got evaporated. Gone. Name off the schedule, keys revoked, probably escorted out before he could finish his coffee. Whole career ended because he wanted to look cool for a few hours. Story 3. So this was peak 2020. You remember? The apocalypse, but make it weird. Shelves empty, people fighting over paper towels like it was gold bullion, everybody suddenly acting like toilet paper was a rare Pokemon card. Absolute chaos. I'm working night shift, just trying to survive the vibes, drink my bad coffee, and not think about the world ending every 5 minutes. Then this one coworker shows up with this massive duffel bag. Not gym bag size. I'm talking airport, going on a week-long vacation size. At first I'm like, whatever, maybe he's going straight to the gym after work. People make questionable life choices, that's normal. But nah. Over the course of the night, dude is quietly hitting every housekeeping closet in the building, just loading rolls of toilet paper into the bag like he's prepping for a bunker in the woods. I noticed it, a couple others noticed it, but we all kind of did that workplace thing where you pretend you didn't see anything because you don't want paperwork ruining your shift. Then, and this is where the man truly fumbled the bag, literally, he starts bragging about it in the break room before clock out, laughing, showing off the duffel like it's treasure, talking about how he's set for months. And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, why are you announcing your crimes like you're on a podcast? Read the room. This is not Ocean's 11. This is janitorial supplies and unemployment. One of my coworkers just quietly picked up the phone and called security. No drama, no yelling, just that calm, disappointed parent energy. We head out to the parking lot, and there's security waiting at the exit like the world's saddest welcome committee. They take the duffel bag, then they take his badge, then his keys. Whole ceremony took maybe 30 seconds, and we all just stood there watching, half tired, half embarrassed for him, saying our awkward little goodbyes like it was the end of summer camp. Man lost a steady paycheck over toilet paper, not money, not something valuable. Not even a good story to tell later. Just rolls of paper he probably could have bought with one shift's wages if he'd waited a week. Idiot. Absolute historic level idiot. Story 4. So this guy at work, real quiet dude, always parked in the corner like office furniture nobody ordered, was already kind of the weakest link productivity-wise. Not terrible, just aggressively mid. The human equivalent of buffering. But then we started noticing this pattern. Every couple hours, clockwork, he'd vanish to the bathroom. And not quick trips either. I'm talking full-length movie runtime breaks. You could microwave lunch, eat it, complain about it, and he'd still be in there fighting for his life or whatever he was doing. At first we're like, hey, maybe stomach issues. IBS is real. Nobody wants to be that coworker judging bathroom time. We tried to give the benefit of the doubt. But then the internet logs told the real story. Turns out this man was spending basically his entire workday browsing porn. Not sneaky about it either, just raw, reckless clicking like the office Wi-Fi was his personal living room. And suddenly, those marathon bathroom trips made a lot more sense in the worst possible way. Management pulled him into a meeting, and honestly, they were way more chill than I would have been. Manager straight up said, "Look, we get it. You have urges. We don't care what you do on your own time. Just stop doing it at work. One warning. That's it. Golden opportunity to reset your life choices." And for about a week, he actually did. Showed up, stayed at his desk, acted like a normal, functioning adult. We all thought, okay, crisis averted. Maybe the man found hobbies, took up jogging, read a book, something wholesome. Nope. Week 2 rolls around, and he goes right back to the same routine. Long disappearances, suspicious browser history. The whole tragic sequel nobody asked for. Management caught it again, and this time there was zero speech, zero patience, 0 second chances. Just a clean surgical termination, fired on the spot. And the wildest part, the part that still blows my mind, is that he was warned, clearly, kindly, practically gift-wrapped a second chance. But nah, man really chose 5 minutes of bad decisions over a steady paycheck. Story 5. So back when I was running a kitchen, full chaos mode, tickets flying, fryer screaming, somebody definitely crying in the walk-in, we had this kid fresh out of culinary school. Real shiny resume, brand new knives, ego the size of a walk-in freezer. You know the type, still smells like textbook pages and unpaid student loans, but walks in like he's the second coming of Gordon Ramsay. Anyway, one night the dishwasher calls out sick. Happens. Kitchens are held together with duct tape and caffeine. So when someone's down, everybody jumps in. Line cooks, prep cooks, managers. Hell, I was the executive chef and I'd be elbow deep in suds if that's what it took. That's just kitchen law. Nobody's above the dish pit. Nobody. So we're getting slammed, plates stacking up like Jenga blocks, steam everywhere, morale hanging by a thread. I tell the kid, calm and simple, hey, jump on dishes for a bit, help us catch up. He looks me dead in the face. No hesitation, full confidence, like he practiced this speech in the mirror, and goes, I am a CIA graduate. I do not do dishes. That is not my job. And internally I'm thinking, oh wow, this is gonna be fun. Because here's the thing, this moment had been marinating for weeks. He'd been tweaking my recipes without asking, changing plating because he didn't like the look, talking to senior staff like he was their supervisor. Just non-stop rookie arrogance. Death by 1,000 eye rolls. So I stared at him for about 3 seconds. Not yelling, not dramatic, just that quiet, tired realization that this man had chosen the dumbest possible hill to die on. Then I said, you're right, it is no longer your job. You're fired. Clean, surgical, no garnish. Kitchen went dead silent for half a second. Then everyone went right back to work, probably trying not to smile, and I'll be honest, that was the only time in my career I felt genuine relief firing someone, like finally taking off a shoe with a rock in it. Because in kitchens, humility keeps you employed. Ego gets you escorted to the door still wearing your apron. Story 6. So this guy I used to work with back in the Blockbuster era, which already tells you how long ago this was, ancient history, rewind tapes, late fees, the whole fossil record, ended up quitting and taking a third shift job at a gas station. Graveyard shift, sketchy neighborhood, fluorescent lights that make everyone look like a zombie. Not glamorous, but steady work. And this dude, solid employee, the kind managers say they want, but somehow never appreciate. Covered shifts, worked overtime, got robbed at gunpoint once, like full Wild West nonsense, and still showed up the next night because rent doesn't care about trauma. Drawer always balanced down to pennies. Never late, never drama, just clock in, grind, clock out. Then one random night, he walks in for his shift, and the owner's already there waiting. That's never a good sign. That's horror movie music starting. Owner pulls him aside and fires him on the spot. No warning, no write-up, just done. Reason? Not stealing, not fighting, not screwing up money, nah. He'd been taking the old donuts, the ones they were literally gonna throw in the trash every morning, bagging them up and giving them to homeless folks who hung around nearby. Quietly. No social media, no hero speech, just basic human decency at 3 a.m. And the only reason the owner found out was pure bad luck. One night, my friend wasn't working, and one of the regular homeless guys wandered in and asked the clerk, hey, got any of those donuts from this morning? Oops, word got back to the owner, and suddenly charity became a fireable offense. But here's the part that really twisted the knife. After firing him, the owner gathered the rest of the staff and basically laid down this villain monologue. If anyone gave food to homeless people, even stuff headed straight for the dumpster, they'd be terminated immediately. No exceptions. Then, and this is the detail that still makes my blood pressure spike, he ordered that all expired food had to stay inside by the back door overnight so he or his son could personally come in each morning and dump bleach on it before throwing it away, because God forbid someone eat discarded donuts for free. Like, imagine being that committed to cruelty. Imagine waking up early just to ruin food so hungry people can't have it. That's not business. That's spite with a payroll. Whole situation left a bad taste in my mouth. And not the stale donut kind. The moral kind. Story 7. So I had this boss, owner type, big ideas, zero attention span, who got obsessed with the online store. Like suddenly he read one article about e-commerce and decided humans were optional now. Automation, baby. The future. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there running literally everything behind the curtain. Inventory counts, client emails, shipping logistics, returns, vendor calls. All the boring, unsexy stuff that actually keeps money flowing. But sure, the website's doing all the work. Yeah, okay, champ. Then one random Wednesday at 11 in the morning, I get a text. Not a meeting, not a conversation, a text. Says my last day would be Friday. That's it. No transition plan, no handoff, no, hey, can you document anything? Just vibes and arrogance. And I remember staring at my phone in the break room thinking, oh, you really have no idea what I do here, do you? So I finished my morning like normal. Answered emails, updated orders, kept everything humming. Then lunchtime hits, and I made a decision right there between bites of a sad sandwich. Yeah, I'm not coming back. If you can fire me over text, you can figure the rest out over Google. I walked out for lunch, and that was the last time they saw me. By Monday morning, I was already working for a competitor. Smooth onboarding, better pay, actual respect. Crazy how that works. And here's the beautiful part. Most of my clients followed me. Not because I asked them to. Not some dramatic poaching scheme. They just trusted the person who actually answered their calls and shipped their stuff on time. Loyalty goes where competence lives. Meanwhile, my old boss started blowing up my phone. Calls, texts, voicemails, full panic mode. Suddenly realizing the process wasn't just clicking a button on the website. It was spreadsheets, relationships, shortcuts, little systems built over years. The kind of knowledge you can't download overnight. And my personal favorite moment? As I walked out that last day, I deactivated my work email, which, small detail, 99% of the company's communication ran through that account. Orders, clients, vendors, everything. Man, the silence that followed must have sounded like a power outage. To this day, they still can't keep someone in that role longer than 3 months. Turns out, replacing a system is easy. Replacing the person who built it, not so much. Story 8. So at this company, you needed your ID badge just to get into the parking lot. Not the building, the parking lot. Real high security vibes for a place that mostly ran on spreadsheets and passive-aggressive emails. Every morning was the same routine. Roll up to the gate, tap your card, barrier lifts. You go inside to pretend you're excited about quarterly goals. Standard corporate theater. Then one morning, things got weird. People started pulling up to the gate, tapping their badges, and nothing. No beep, no green light, just that dead, soul-crushing silence from the scanner. At first, you'd think it was a glitch. Happens sometimes. So they try again, and again. Still nothing. Meanwhile, there's a line of cars forming behind them. Everybody craning their necks like it's a car accident on the highway. Next thing you know, a security guard walks out carrying a cardboard box. Not a good sign. Never in the history of employment has a cardboard box meant anything positive. Guard hands it through the car window. Inside is their desk stuff, already packed up. Family photos, coffee mug, random office junk. Then he gives them an envelope from HR. Real, formal looking. The kind of letter that says, your career just got unplugged. And the kicker? They weren't even allowed inside to talk to anyone. The letter basically said they'd been terminated and had a scheduled conference call later to discuss separation issues. Not a meeting, not a conversation, a phone call, like canceling cable service. So you've got people just sitting there in their cars, engine running, holding a box of their own belongings, trying to process the fact they got fired before they even made it past the parking gate. No warning, no goodbye lap around the office, no awkward cake in the break room, just denied access and escorted straight into unemployment. And the rest of us, still employed? We drove through that same gate right after, badges working fine, pretending everything was normal, but the vibe was wrecked. You suddenly realize your job security is basically a plastic card and a database entry. One click, and you're locked out of your own life. All right, if you made it this far, you're officially part of the crew. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Drop your own craziest work story in the comments, because you already know there are more disasters out there waiting to be told. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for the next batch of workplace madness. Trust me, it only gets weirder from here.